Hey everybody, I just graduated high school, and I will show you that I just graduated high school, because last time I checked, that's my full name. I just want to sit down and have a little heart-to-heart and just discuss my 4 years at high school. I'll start with my freshman year. My freshman year, I was a very weird girl. I'm talking, I was a baby or I was a mom in her 30s. That was my style. A baby that looked like a 30-year-old mother. And during that time, I was very depressed, I was very lonely, and I did not have a ton of friends. My first boyfriend in high school, we had actually dated once before in the 7th grade. And I decided to give him another shot because I thought, why not? Literally, why not? What's the worst that could happen? The worst that happened was I lost all my friends. And as I got older, I realized they were never my friends. They were his friends that just chose to accept me into the group. And I'm glad I'm not friends with most of those people anymore, because they were not good influences at all. But it still sucked not having friends. And through not having friends, I picked up this really fun hobby of reading. I kid you not, if you went to high school with me, you already know what I'm going to talk about. I would be sitting in the courtyard. There were these benches, and I would sit on the table of the bench and have my feet on the seat of the bench, and I would have my book in my hand, just reading. Even during the wintertime when it was cold. Or if I had a fun, fuzzy jacket with me and it got warm outside, I'd take that jacket out, lay down on the bench, and use it as a pillow and read for the entire hour lunch we had. And it was so much fun. I never thought not having friends could be that fun. And I mean, I did have people I hung out with. I did have a friend, but I didn't have a bunch of friends like I thought I would in high school. And then the summer of my sophomore year rolls around, and she was a mess. She was a mess. I started helping at my mom's job during the summer, and her boss would always give me $20 a day. Those were some of the best $20 I've ever earned, because I would take that $20 bill right down to Hawaiian Hut and I would buy a meal. And then I would save the $5 and then eventually spend it. The fair that summer was so much fun. I have so many fun memories from that. But the summer of my sophomore year was when I joined Color Guard. And Color Guard changed the trajectory of my life. I would not be the woman I am today without Color Guard. If I had not met those people, if I had not had the coaches I had, I would be a very different woman talking to you right now. And through doing band, I met someone that became my friend and became someone that I crushed so hard on during my high school experience. And he happened to be my drum major. And he already knows that I used to have a crush on him in high school. It's been such a funny thing. We joke about it, and I'm actually going to the same college as him. And it's just so funny to look back on that and just think, why? Why did I like him? And it's not that he's a bad person. He's an amazing person. Amazing human. But when you see someone in a platonic way after liking them, it's hard to remember why you liked him that way. And he is just such an incredible individual, and I am so grateful to have him as a friend. But doing marching band and Color Guard helped me meet my 2 best friends in the whole wide world. I wouldn't have met them if we never did Color Guard. If there's one thing I've learned through high school, is the butterfly effect is real. When you do something, a bunch of things cascade after it. Joining marching band, I met the best people in my life other than my family. And I would not change that for the world. Even the bad experiences I had in marching band, I would not trade those for my best friends. And during my sophomore year was my biggest learning point in my life. But during my sophomore year, I had this one really good friend of mine. And if there's one thing I can tell you that I learned from being 16 is if you have a friend that's older than you, well, your friend doesn't even have to be older than you, but if you have a friend who's in a relationship and you have a crush on them and they mention that they find you attractive too, don't entertain the idea. You're going to ruin a friendship and a relationship. Trust me. I did that. And not only did I ruin a perfectly good relationship, a perfectly fine relationship, I lost one of my best friends doing it. Haven't spoken to him in 2 years, haven't seen him in 2 years. I hope he's doing well. I have no idea what's going on in his life because I don't know him anymore, which is really, really sad because we used to talk to each other every single day of the week. And I understand that things happen for a reason, but sometimes I don't want those things to happen. And it just sucks. It just freaking sucks. My sophomore year was spent being depressed. And I was depressed, but I was surrounded by people. And that depressive episode was probably the worst one I've experienced in my 18 years of living so far. And I am so grateful for the people that were in my life when I was going through it. My circle kept me together and helped me push through to the next year. Now we're getting to my junior year. My junior year of high school was... I don't like to remember this year because I was such a mean person. I went through so many things. And this was the year of the boyfriends. This was the year of the boyfriends. The summer going into junior year, I was still really depressed. And 3 of my closest friends were not even in the same city. My best friend, opposite side of the country, my other 2 best friends, out of the country with a 10-hour time difference. 10 hours. And it wasn't good. I mean, good for them. Go on vacation. Get out of here. But I was depressed. I wasn't working. School ended, so I wasn't doing anything. I would lay in my bed and just rot all day. And I remember when they came back from their vacations, I ran to give my friend Ethan a hug. And I hugged that man like a spider, not a spider monkey. I didn't jump up into him, but I ran up, grabbed that man, hugged him tighter than I think that's the tightest I'd ever hugged him in my life. And I just said, I missed you so much. Thanks for coming back. And I mean it. I did miss him. And then, of course, I hugged Aaron. At least I think I did it. I might not be remembering that correctly. I think it was July of 2023 when I met ex-boyfriend number 2. Boyfriend number 2. And it was actually at a marching band fundraiser, funnily enough. And we struck up a conversation. That was it. I went over to talk to him because he looked like he was lonely. He talked to me. I talked back. And by the end of the night, I asked him for his Instagram handle because I didn't think to even ask him for his number. It's just like, do you have Instagram by chance? And to me, it was less forward than asking for someone's number. Because at the time, I was not a very forward girl. And I'm still not, but I'm more forward than I was then at 15 and a half. No, 16 and a half, because I was turning 17 that October. And we were talking for about a week before we went on our first date. And oh my god, this first date was so much fun. I almost crashed my car. I almost rear-ended a truck because I wasn't paying attention. I was driving and we were just having a grand old time. And I will not discuss the specifics of my relationships online because there's a difference between, in my humble and personal opinion, there's a huge difference between talking about things online where complete strangers can see it versus with your best friends. Personal opinion. But It was good for a little bit, but when most relationships go wrong, they go wrong fast and they go wrong very quickly. And there was a point where it just went, like, everything just cascaded downhill. And I ended things in October of 2023, I think. So we were together for literally 2.5 months before I was like, bye! And I just remember feeling awful. I felt like an absolute, like, I felt like I was an awful person. And I know I wasn't, but I was in such a depressive state days. I skipped school. I barely came to guard practice, and when I did, I'd have to excuse myself at least 1 or 2 times to go cry. Even though I was the one that ended the relationship, mind you. Ironic, isn't it? But I don't think I fully healed from that relationship before I got into my second one. When I got into my second relationship with boyfriend number 3, I think I was about 4 months post boyfriend number 2 when I started talking to this one, and it wasn't even with the intention of dating him. My friend, it was her brother, she found out that I was working at the same job as him, and she said, hey, have his Snapchat. Have at it. Be friends. You guys seem like you'd get along. And we definitely did. We hit it off very quickly. And I think we talked for about 1.5 months before we went on our first date. And again, this first date was so much fun. Both of my boyfriends, my junior year, those relationships might have crashed and burned. But the first dates I went on with both those men were amazing. The reason I talk about my relationships so much in this portion of my high school experience is because it really was such a huge part of it. I'm talking, I skipped school for boyfriend number 3. I would skip my PE class to go have lunch with him. I would make excuses like, oh, I had an appointment. Oh, this, that. My grades tanked horribly. It was so bad. So bad. If there's another thing I can mention for junior year, other than relationships, I would not recommend taking AP classes just because your friends are taking them. For the sole purpose that I crashed and burned in AP psychology. And that is no fault of the teacher. He was amazing. He still is an amazing teacher. I just had circumstances going on in my home life, and I definitely shouldn't have taken AP Psych. I should have taken General Psych first, then the AP course. But that class was fun. There were some things that we did in that class that were so much fun. We made a fake brain diagram out of, I think, a grapefruit and some candies. And then we got to eat it. The grapefruit wasn't great, but from what I heard, the candy was great. I didn't eat it personally. And I was mean. I was so mean towards the end of my junior year. I would talk so much crap in front of everybody thinking nobody could hear me. No, Stephanie. They heard you. I guarantee you, every person in that class heard every word that came out of your pretty little mouth. And I don't think I really realized how much crap I was talking until probably a month after the fact. My last day of school in my junior year was very anticlimactic. Nothing happened. I existed. That was it. I went to school, played Uno, came home. And that was really it. I will say, the summer going into senior year, it was okay. I spent a lot of it with my boyfriend at the time. We went on 2 vacations together, I think, and they were fun. I enjoyed them. They are very fond memories. Whenever I look back on that relationship, those are the 2 things that I think about the most. And then, oh my god, when this relationship ended, it ended in this room that I'm filming in right now. I lost my mind. I lost my mind over a 4.5 month long relationship. Let that sink in for a second. 4.5 months, I crashed out. And mind you, this breakup happened in the middle of band camp. And when I'm saying band camp, I'm talking I had 12-hour days, 4 days a week. Let me throw up a picture of what I looked like. She was not having it. Miss Girl was not having a single part of that. And I did not start to get my color back probably until the end of October when I turned 18. And even then, over a 4.5 month long relationship, it took me so long to get over. Stupid long. Stupid long. I'm actually embarrassed of it. So we're not going to talk about how long it took me to get over it. As from the entirety of my senior year, other than having to deal with a breakup during the first portion of it, I regret nothing. Other than taking AP Biology. Sorry, Mr. Gillette, I regret taking AP Biology. My life would have been so much easier if I would have just taken physics like I thought I would. Then again, science is not my strong suit, so I probably would have wanted to die in physics anyway. But no, I took AP Biology because my freshman year biology teacher was teaching AP Bio, and my 2 best friends were in it. What could possibly go wrong? Everything went wrong. Literally every single thing that could have gone wrong went wrong. This was the first year AP Bio had been taught at Crater in years. And you could tell, because we had no idea what we were doing. Our teacher had no idea what he was doing. It was such a fun experience. As much as I say I regret taking AP Bio, I regret it because of the course load. Not because of the teacher, not because of the curriculum, but because of all of the work I had to do. Learning it was not an issue. Retaining it was. My favorite class from my senior year was AP Lang. AP Lang Composition was the best class I had. It was so much fun. And you might wonder, how is AP English any fun? If you have Mr. Easton, it's pretty dang fun. Let me tell you that. He's a funny guy. We love Mr. Easton, and we had honor guards for our graduation, and Mr. Easton was the one that read off my name for graduation, and that was amazing. But no, his class was so much fun. Even though I was in 5th period, which was the quiet class, I still loved it. I loved the people, I loved the conversations, I loved the topics. Everything was so amazing. I can't even begin to describe it. And the experiences I've had this year, senior sunrise, the friends I've met, the friends I've lost, homecoming, turning 18, winter formal, marching band for the final time, winter guard for the final time, senior prom, senior sunset, and graduation. Everything I've been through this year has been nothing short of amazing. As Taylor Swift says, Dr. Taylor Swift says, everything you lose is a step you take. I've lost friends this year. I don't expect people to follow me after graduation if we're not friends. Because if we're not friends, what good does it do you? Staying single my entire senior year is the best decision I ever made. There were a few times I thought about dating people, and I'm just really glad I didn't, because it's not even the fact of having quote-unquote freedom. It's just the fact that I got to be with myself and learn who I am without having insane crushes on boys or being in relationships. I got to learn who I am. Who is Stephanie? What does she want? And I got to enrich my relationships with my friends. I got to meet new people. And I wouldn't trade any of the experiences I've had this year for the world. Good, bad, or indifferent. There are some things I do wish I did differently. But at the end of the day, I did it. I made it. And nobody can take that away from me. There are some friends I wish I kept. There are some bridges I wish I didn't burn. But everything happens because it's what's meant to happen. And just know everything's gonna work out. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you failed a class. It doesn't matter if you had to retake a class. It doesn't matter if your whole world came crashing down. You're gonna make it and you're gonna be okay. I went through so many things just within my senior year. Dealing with a bad breakup, dealing with the thought of my grandma almost passing away, which she didn't, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, trying to figure out what my calling is, all of these things, and also just trying to figure out who I am. And I did it. I can't believe I did it. I mean, I can, but I can't. I'm really proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for making it, and I'm proud of myself for seeing myself through. If you are graduating within the next 4 years, I'm talking a class of 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2029. Make the most of what you have left, because when it's gone, it's gone. I'm no longer student number 605947. I'm just Stephanie Watkins, a grown adult in a grown adult world. To everyone in District 6, it's been a pleasure being a student in your district for the past 13 years. I could not have asked for a better school district to grow up in and learn from. I am so happy with how everything turned out. Even though tonight went nothing according to plan whatsoever. I'm talking like my graduation gown ripped, somebody's chair broke and I had to fix it in the middle of the ceremony. And what else happened? Oh, I completely ripped my tassel off of my cap when I was trying to turn it. Everything happened. I walked out with my diploma. I'm educated, and it's time for my new adventure. I hope you guys stick around to watch that adventure. If you don't, thanks for stopping in. I think it's about 12:30 a.m. and I want to go to bed. I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye. Love ya.